I still remember the exact moment my phone buzzed during my gallery opening. 3 years of work, 50 paintings on display, and my first real shot at making it as an artist. The text was from my younger sister, Madison. "Mom and Dad can't make it tonight. Emergency with Chloe. You understand, right?" I didn't respond. I just slipped my phone back into my clutch and smiled at the couple admiring my centerpiece, a massive canvas I'd titled Invisible. They didn't know that 20 minutes before the doors opened, I'd gotten 3 texts. The first from Dad, "Running late, traffic." The second from Mom, "Your sister needs us." The third from Madison, "The truth." My youngest sister Chloe, 19 and perfect, had decided last minute that she wanted to go dress shopping for homecoming. Not prom, homecoming. And apparently, that was more important than the gallery opening I'd mentioned every single day for 3 months. This wasn't new. This was a pattern so old I could recite it like a script. When I was 16, I won a regional art competition. First place, $5,000 scholarship. I came home with the trophy, practically vibrating with excitement. Mom was on the phone with Chloe's dance instructor. Dad was watching Chloe's recital video for the 100th time. Madison looked up from her homework long enough to say congrats before Mom shushed her because she couldn't hear the phone call. I put the trophy on the kitchen counter. It sat there for 3 days before I moved it to my room. When I was 18, I got accepted to Rhode Island School of Design with a partial scholarship. I needed $12,000 for the first year. I'd saved $4,000 from my job at the coffee shop. I asked my parents for help, showed them the acceptance letter, explained that RISD was one of the top art schools in the country. Dad looked at the letter for maybe 10 seconds before handing it back. "Honey, you know Chloe's AAU basketball season is starting. We just paid $15,000 for her travel team fees and equipment. Can you do community college for a year and then transfer?" I did community college for 2 years. By then, I'd aged out of the scholarship. When I was 20, I worked 3 jobs to save for an art intensive in New York. I'd scraped together $2,000, enough for the program, and a shared room in Brooklyn for the summer. I mentioned it at dinner one night. Chloe, 17 and glowing with that effortless confidence she'd always had, announced she wanted to go to Europe with her basketball team. The trip was $4,000. Mom didn't even look at me. "We'll figure it out, baby," she said to Chloe. Then to me, "You can do that New York thing anytime, right? You're so talented, you don't need some expensive program." I went to New York anyway. I ate ramen for 6 weeks and slept on a friend's couch. It was the best summer of my life. Madison was the only one who noticed. She was 22 then, working as a paralegal and living in her own apartment. She came to visit me in Brooklyn, brought groceries, and didn't ask why I looked so thin. We sat on the fire escape eating cheap tacos, and she said it out loud for the first time. I didn't deny it. I just asked her why she thought it was. "Because Chloe's their do-over kid," Madison said. "They were young and broke when they had us. Now they're established, comfortable. Chloe gets the childhood they wish they could have given us. And you," she paused, chose her words carefully. "You've always been the one who figures it out. So they let you." Now, at 28, standing in a gallery with my name on the wall, I watched strangers appreciate my work in a way my parents never had. The opening was successful. I sold 6 pieces. A reviewer from a local arts magazine asked for an interview. My mentor, Professor Diane Chen from community college, showed up with flowers and tears in her eyes. "Your parents must be so proud," someone said. "They couldn't make it tonight," I replied, voice steady. "Family emergency." The lie tasted familiar. I got home around midnight, riding the high of success and the crash of disappointment in equal measure. My phone had 11 missed calls, all from Dad, 3 voicemails, 2 from Mom, 5 texts from Madison. "Dad's freaking out. Call me now. Emma, seriously, call." My hands shook as I unlocked my phone. The voicemails were frantic. "Emma, it's Dad. We need you to call us back immediately. It's important." "Emma, this isn't funny. Pick up the phone. We need to talk to you about something urgent." "Emma Grace Thompson, call your mother right now. This is serious." I called Madison first. She picked up on the first ring. "Oh, thank God. Are you okay? I'm fine. What's going on? Why is everyone calling? There was a pause. A long one. You haven't seen it? Seen what? Chloe posted on Instagram. From the dress shop. The caption says, "Finally found the perfect dress. Mom and Dad are the best for dropping everything to help me shop. No stress, no drama, just family time." Madison's voice was tight with anger. There are photos, Emma. Mom holding up dresses. Dad carrying shopping bags. Time stamped at 7:45. My gallery opening started at 7. Emma? Madison's voice was soft now, worried. I couldn't speak. The room tilted slightly, like I was on a boat. They're calling because Aunt Linda saw the post, Madison continued. She commented, asking why they weren't at your opening. Other people saw it. It's not a good look for them. I laughed. It came out sharp, almost mean. So they're not calling because they're sorry. They're calling because they got caught. Emma, I have to go. I hung up before she could respond. The texts from Dad kept coming. We can explain. It's not what it looks like. Call us. Emma, we're worried about you. This is ridiculous. You're being childish. That last one did it. Childish. I was childish for being hurt that my parents chose homecoming dress shopping over the biggest night of my career. I was childish for expecting them to show up for me just once. I turned off my phone and didn't turn it back on for 3 days. When I finally powered it on, there were 67 missed calls, 43 texts, 2 voicemails from Chloe, which surprised me. I listened to them. Emma, hey, I didn't know about your opening. I mean, I knew you had something art-related, but I didn't know it was that night. I'm sorry people are making a big deal out of my post. I really needed a dress and Mom and Dad offered. So, yeah. Anyway, call me back, I guess. The second voicemail was shorter. Okay, so Dad's mad that you're ignoring everyone. He says you're being dramatic. But I saw some of the comments on my post and I don't know. Maybe just call Mom? She's upset. I deleted both voicemails. Madison came over that weekend with Thai food and wine. We sat on my apartment floor, and I showed her the reviews from the opening. One called my work hauntingly beautiful and deeply personal. Another said I was an emerging talent to watch. Madison cried. I didn't. You should be celebrating, she said. I am. You're not. You're here. Alone. Ignoring our family because they're… She stopped herself. Because they're what? Because they're exactly who they've always been, and you keep expecting them to change. She wasn't wrong. The thing about being the forgotten child is that you become very good at convincing yourself it doesn't matter. You tell yourself you're independent, self-sufficient, that you don't need their validation. You build a life that doesn't include them because including them means making space for disappointment. But sometimes, late at night, you wonder what it would feel like to be chosen. Just once. Professor Chen called me the Monday after the opening. Emma, I have someone who wants to meet you. Collector. Big name. Saw your work and wants to commission a piece. Are you available Thursday? Thursday. I met Richard Castellano in a coffee shop in downtown Seattle. He was in his 60s, well-dressed, and he'd bought 2 of my paintings from the gallery. He wanted a large-scale piece for his firm's headquarters. Budget. $30,000. I tried to keep my face neutral. $30,000. That was more than I'd made in the entire previous year. I'll do it, I said. He smiled. I thought you might. I'll have my assistant send over the contract. Emma, you're incredibly talented. I think you're going to do very well in this industry. I floated out of that coffee shop. I called Madison immediately, then Professor Chen. They screamed with me, celebrated with me. I thought about calling my parents. I picked up the phone 3 times and put it down 3 times. Finally, I texted Mom. Got a major commission, $30,000. Thought you'd want to know. She responded 6 hours later. That's wonderful, honey. We're so proud. Can we take you to dinner this weekend to celebrate? We need to talk. We need to talk. Not we want to celebrate. Not we're sorry. We need to talk. I agreed to dinner anyway. Some part of me still hoped. Saturday night, I met them at their favorite Italian restaurant. Chloe wasn't there. Madison declined to come. It was just me, Mom, and Dad, sitting in a booth like a normal family. We ordered. Made small talk. Complimented the breadsticks. Then Mom cleared her throat. Emma, we want to address what happened with the gallery opening. I waited. We didn't handle it well, Dad said. We should have managed our time better. Managed their time better. Like I was a dentist appointment they'd double booked. We didn't realize how important it was to you, Mom added. I told you about it every day for 3 months. Well, yes, but you're always working on art projects. We didn't know this one was special. I set down my fork carefully. This one was my first solo exhibition. I told you that. Multiple times. Dad shifted in his seat. We're not here to argue. We're here to move forward. This family drama needs to stop. Family drama. As if I'd created this. People saw Chloe's post, Mom said quietly. Your aunt, your dad's coworkers, some of our friends. It's been awkward. We need to present a united front. And there it was. They weren't sorry. They were embarrassed. So you want me to what, exactly? Post a photo with you and pretend everything's fine? We want you to act like an adult, Dad said, an edge in his voice now. You're 28 years old. You can't throw a tantrum every time things don't go your way. I laughed. It wasn't a happy sound. A tantrum. You think I'm throwing a tantrum. You ignored our calls for days. That's childish, Emma. You chose homecoming dress shopping over my gallery opening. What's that? Mom reached across the table. Honey, Chloe needed us. Chloe's 19. She can shop for a dress alone. I needed you too. I've always needed you. You've just never noticed, because Chloe's needs are always louder. That's not fair, Mom said. We've always supported you. When? Name one time you chose me over Chloe. One time you showed up for me the way you show up for her. They were quiet. I waited. Let the silence stretch. Finally, Dad spoke. We did the best we could. We had 3 daughters and limited resources. We made choices. You made choices, I agreed. You chose Chloe. Every single time. She's the youngest. She needs more support. She's 19, and you're still making excuses. I stood up, pulled 2 20s from my wallet for my untouched meal. I'm done. Emma, sit down. We're not finished. Yes, we are. I left. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely unlock my car. I sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes, crying the way I never let myself cry ugly, gasping sobs that felt like they were tearing something open inside me. Madison called. How did it go? I walked out. Good. You want company? Yes. She was at my apartment in 30 minutes with ice cream and the understanding that we didn't have to talk about it if I didn't want to. We did talk about it, though. About every missed recital, every forgotten birthday, every time I'd been told I was easier or more independent or didn't need as much attention. About the time I'd broken my wrist and had to wait 3 hours in the ER because Mom was at Chloe's basketball game. About the time I'd graduated summa cum laude from community college and they'd missed the ceremony because Chloe had a playoff game. You deserved better, Madison said. We both did. She nodded. Yeah, but I was invisible too, so at least we had each other. You were alone in it. It was true. Madison and I had bonded over being overlooked. We'd built our own small family of 2, the forgotten sisters. But I'd always been the oldest, the one who was supposed to figure it out, so I'd carried it differently. What are you going to do? Madison asked. I don't know, but I did know. I just wasn't ready to say it out loud yet. The commission piece took me 6 weeks. I poured everything into it, every ounce of hurt and anger and grief and hope. Richard Castellano loved it. He commissioned 2 more pieces on the spot. Word spread. I got 3 more commissions. A gallery in Portland wanted to feature my work. Professor Chen started introducing me as one of her success stories. My career was taking off, and my parents weren't part of it. They tried, in their way. Mom sent occasional texts. Thinking of you. Hope you're well. We miss you. Dad sent money for my birthday, which I sent back. Chloe called once, rambling and uncomfortable, saying she didn't understand why I was making everything so complicated. Madison told me they were telling people I was going through something and to give me space, like I was having a breakdown instead of setting boundaries. 6 months after the gallery opening, I was featured in a Seattle arts magazine. Full spread, interview, photos of my work. Professor Chen texted me a screenshot of Mom's Facebook post sharing the article. So proud of our talented daughter Emma. She's always had such a gift. Number proud mom? Number artist daughter? I stared at it for a long time. She'd never come to the gallery, never asked about my work, never showed up, but she'd share an article for her friends to see. I blocked her on social media. Madison called me immediately. Did you see? I saw it. What are you going to do? I already did it. I blocked her. And Dad. And Chloe. Silence. Then, how do you feel? Lighter. It was true. Something shifted when I blocked them, like I'd been carrying a weight I didn't realize I could put down. They're going to lose their minds, Madison said. Good. They did lose their minds. Mom called Madison crying, asking what she'd done wrong. Dad sent angry emails about family loyalty. Chloe sent confused texts, asking why I was being so extra. I didn't respond to any of it. Professor Chen asked me to speak to her current students about building a career as an artist. I said yes. 20 kids sitting in the same community college classroom where I'd spent 2 years, and I told them the truth. The people who are supposed to support you won't always show up, and that's going to hurt. But you don't wait for permission to succeed. You don't wait for validation from people who don't see your worth. You build anyway. One girl raised her hand. What if it's your family who doesn't show up? I looked at her for a long moment. Then you find new family. People who choose you, who see you, who show up. After the talk, Professor Chen pulled me aside. You know I'm proud of you, right? Not just the art, everything. I hugged her. This 70-year-old woman who'd stayed late to review my portfolio when I was a scared community college student, who'd written recommendation letters and made phone calls and believed in me when my own parents couldn't be bothered. You were more of a parent to me than they ever were, I said. She wiped her eyes. Then I'm honored. 2 years after the gallery opening, I had my second solo exhibition. This one was in a prestigious Seattle gallery, 3 times the size of the first. The owner called it a landmark show for an emerging artist. I invited Professor Chen, Madison, a few close friends. I didn't invite my parents. The opening was on a Friday night. By 8 p.m., I'd sold 12 pieces. A curator from a museum in San Francisco wanted to talk. 2 art bloggers were posting about the show in real time. I was standing in front of my centerpiece, a painting I'd titled Chosen Family, when Madison grabbed my arm. They're here. I turned. Mom, Dad, and Chloe stood near the entrance, scanning the crowd. Mom was dressed up, holding a bouquet of flowers. Dad looked uncomfortable in a suit. Chloe was on her phone. Do you want me to ask them to leave? Madison's voice was fierce, protective. No, let them stay. I watched them spot me. Mom's face lit up. She started walking over, flowers extended like an offering. Dad followed. Chloe trailed behind, still looking at her phone. Emma! Mom's voice was bright, performative. This is incredible. We're so proud of you. I didn't take the flowers. How did you know about this? We saw it online. We wanted to surprise you. She pushed the flowers toward me again. These are for you, sweetie. You weren't invited. Mom's smile faltered. We're your parents. We don't need an invitation. Actually, you do. I kept my voice level, aware of the people nearby. This is a private event. I chose who to invite. Dad stepped forward. Emma, don't be ridiculous. We drove all the way here to support you. Support me now? After 2 years of nothing? We've given you space like you wanted, Mom said, hurt creeping into her voice. We thought you'd be ready to. To what? Pretend everything's fine? Pretend you didn't choose Chloe's dress shopping over my first opening? Chloe looked up from her phone. Are you still mad about that? Emma, that was 2 years ago. I looked at my youngest sister, 21 now, and still clueless. It wasn't about the dress shopping, Chloe. It was about every choice before that. Every time they picked you. Every time I didn't matter. That's not fair, Dad said. We did our best. Your best wasn't enough. The words came out quiet but final. I needed parents who showed up. You showed up for Chloe. You didn't show up for me. Mom's eyes filled with tears. We're here now. 2 years too late. Emma, please. Mom reached for my hand. I stepped back. We want to make this right. We want to be part of your life. You are part of my life. You're the people who taught me that I'm only worth attention when it's convenient, that my accomplishments only matter when they reflect well on you. You're here because you saw posts about my show and realized it looked bad that you weren't involved. I gestured around the gallery. This isn't about supporting me. This is about appearances. That's not true, Dad said, but his voice lacked conviction. It is true. You posted about my magazine article, but you never came to see my work. You're here tonight because other people are watching. Not because you care. Chloe shifted uncomfortably. Emma, they're trying. Can't you just what? Be grateful they showed up for once? Accept the flowers and pretend the last 28 years didn't happen? Madison appeared at my side, silent support. Mom was crying now. We made mistakes. We're sorry. I'm not cutting you out. I'm choosing myself. Finally, I looked at each of them. I've spent my whole life hoping you'd see me. Choose me. Love me the way you love Chloe. I'm done hoping. I'm done waiting for you to be the parents I needed. So that's it? Dad's voice was hard now, angry. You're just going to throw away your family? You threw me away a long time ago. I'm just finally accepting it. Professor Chen materialized beside me, her presence solid and grounding. She looked at my parents with the cool assessment of someone who'd heard every story, seen every tear. I think it's time for you to go, she said quietly. Mom looked at her, then at me. Emma, please, don't do this. I already did, 2 years ago. You just didn't notice. They left. Mom still holding the flowers, Dad's hand on her back, Chloe walking ahead with her phone. I watched them go, and felt nothing. No regret, no relief, just a quiet certainty that I'd done the right thing. Madison hugged me. You okay? Yeah, I am. Professor Chen squeezed my shoulder. Proud of you, kid. The rest of the night was a blur of congratulations and champagne, and strangers telling me my work moved them. I sold 16 pieces total. The museum curator offered me a spot in a group exhibition. An art dealer from New York gave me her card. I went home alone that night, shoes in hand, and sat on my apartment floor with a glass of wine. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. I hope you're happy. You've broken your father's heart. I deleted it without responding. Madison texted, You were incredible tonight. I love you. Professor Chen. Remember, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. A number I didn't recognize. Hi, Emma. This is Richard Castellano. I attended your exhibition tonight. Remarkable work. I'd like to discuss representing your work exclusively. Call me. I responded to Madison and Professor Chen. Saved Richard's number. Blocked the number Mom had texted from. Then I opened my laptop and started sketching ideas for my next series. I was thinking about light. About how some people carry it with them, and how some people block it out. About the family you're born into and the family you choose. About how sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from people who don't see your worth. 3 years after that gallery opening, 5 years after the first one my parents missed, I had my first museum exhibition. Solo show at a contemporary art museum in Portland. It was everything I'd dreamed of. Madison flew in from San Diego, where she'd moved for a new job. Professor Chen came with her husband. Friends I'd made in the art world showed up. The gallery owner who'd given me my first show, Richard Castellano and his wife. My chosen family, filling the space with love and pride. My parents weren't there. Neither was Chloe, but I didn't need them to be. I stood in front of my largest painting, yet 15 feet wide, titled Finally, and gave a speech to a room full of people who'd shown up for me. For a long time, I thought success meant proving something to people who didn't believe in me. I thought if I achieved enough, won enough awards, got enough recognition, they'd finally see me. I paused. This is about being seen by people who matter, people who chose to be here, people who've always seen me. I looked at Madison, tears streaming down her face, at Professor Chen, beaming with pride, at the community I'd built from nothing. This is for everyone who's ever felt invisible. You're not. You're seen. You matter. and you don't need permission from anyone to take up space. The applause was thunderous. Later, during the reception, my phone buzzed. Chloe's name flashed on the screen. I'd never blocked her number, though we hadn't spoken in years. I almost didn't answer, but I did. Emma? Her voice was small, younger than I remembered. Chloe. I saw your exhibition online. You're really successful, huh? I'm doing well, yeah. Silence. Then, I'm sorry. I waited. For all of it. For not seeing what they were doing. For taking up all the space. For her voice cracked. For not being a better sister. Okay. Is that all you're going to say? What do you want me to say, Chloe? I don't know. That you forgive me? That we can, I don't know, start over? I looked across the room at Madison, who was laughing with Professor Chen. At the life I'd built without my parents, without Chloe. At the family I'd chosen. I don't forgive you, I said quietly. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I hope you figure out who you are without being the center of everyone's attention. I hope you learn what it means to show up for people. I hope you become someone worthy of forgiveness. Emma, I have to go. Goodbye, Chloe. I hung up. Blocked the number. Walked back to my chosen family. Madison raised her glass. To Emma. To art. To showing up. To showing up, I echoed. We drank. We celebrated. We stayed until the museum closed and then went to a diner and ate pancakes at midnight. Professor Chen told embarrassing stories about me as a student. Madison showed us photos of her new apartment. We laughed until we cried. Nobody mentioned my parents. Nobody asked if I was sad they weren't there. Because I wasn't. I was exactly where I was supposed to be. With exactly the people who'd earned the right to be there. And that was enough. More than enough. It was everything.